Previously on Genesis 7.
Ride me like a god.
And now the continuation.
Ride me like a god.
Good evening and welcome to the next episode of Genesis 7. Now let's see if the theme is still shit. Yep, it sounds like someone tortured and murdered the sharp theme. That upsets me, I fucking love that theme. So they're drifting towards the sun, and in 20 minutes they'll be too close to be able to get out of the gravity well. We've about 20 minutes left in the episode, so maybe, just maybe, they'll die. Wait, no, that would be terrible. The rest of the show would be them standing around in heaven, talking unnaturally about how awesome everything is, in between bouts of harp playing. I'd rather have the shitty sci-fi.
Ouch.
You okay?
Yeah, but it's impossible to work with electrical wiring when there's so much interference.
No, not impossible.
Well, then very extremely super difficult then.
That's better.
That dialogue really should be 90% made of fucks by this point. So they decide to fix the engine of their magic spaceship by pulling space debris from its motor.
I'm thinking that debris has the PSU locked up, so we need to try and manually start the motor.
Now, I'm nothing but a simple Earth-based type, but why does your ship have a motor? Let alone a motor that can stop the whole fucking ship when someone gets lodged in it. It's not a fucking speedboat. And when did that debris get in there? You weren't even hit with fucking debris, you were blasted with solar magnetism.
How did that get in there?
Someone put it in there.
Did he fix the ship and then briefly get taken over by his evil alternate personality who just jammed that shit in there? Fuck. This is what happens when you let Denny from the room be in charge of your tech. And if it's sabotage, then how? It being jammed in there fucked the whole ship up. They've been in space for ages. Either the saboteur has set up a Rube Goldberg machine to stick that in there, has stowed away on board and not been noticed, or it's been in there for ages and the ship literally just realized that it should have crippled them, so dies now to overcompensate. And of course, it's going to be number 3. Now, Don Tonatello is in charge of all things techno and piloting and everything that's interesting, and the captain's in charge of captaining and having a girlfriend who looks like she's 12. But what about Priscilla? Well, she is the most important job of all. She's the officer in charge of Bechdel test failure. With her there, it's technically possible for the show to pass, but she'll ensure that it never does. So the sun tries to pull a Unicron and gravity them to a painful death, but they do some tech shit and escape its grip. Just in time to receive a message. They're on their way home.
There's going to be a slight change in plans. You're all coming home for a little while. The Genesis 7 could use a proper repair, and Danton could use medical attention.
If medicine is a thing, then why don't you have a medic on board? You had space for her, and her main role, when not talking bollocks or being servile, is to repeat remedial science worked out decades, if not hundreds of years ago. Anyway, I'm sure the Genesis 7 has been sabotaged, probably by those evil, Sagan-loving satano-atheists. And I'm not sure if the boss is meant to sound suspect, or if he's just really shit at acting.
Everything's taken care of. You just worry about getting yourself and your crew home safely.
Captain, we're passing Mercury and we should be able to see it to the front and left. According to evolutionary theory, weren't all the planets supposed to be the same size?
No, they're not. Evolutionary theory has nothing to do with planet size. You might as well say, according to the germ theory of disease, isn't France meant to be blue? Actually, I'll let someone else answer.
According to evolutionary theory, weren't all the planets supposed to be the same size?
That just makes no fucking sense. I mean, it's just bullshit. Fuck. Oh my.
I'm pretty sure they're using evolutionary theory as a catch-all for every type of science they don't like and didn't mean to talk about biology, but fuck it! When you say something's evolution, I'm gonna act like you said something's evolution. Because I'm fucking weird like that.
According to evolutionary theory, weren't all the planets supposed to be the same size?
Yes, they are supposed to be, but obviously we can see they are not.
So how did evolutionists get around that problem?
Wait, let me guess. Some mysterious rock coming from who knows where bumped into it, causing the vast majority of the planet to crumble away into space, leaving what we know as Mercury.
You're exactly right, Lieutenant. I'm impressed.
I'm sorry, I just had to go back into this. I am no physics person, whatever the word for that is, physician. I'm no physician, and I've never heard of the all planets should be the same size, so let's explain it via meteors theory. Now let's just take another word. Even though, knowingly or unknowingly, they spout lots and lots of lies about science in this. Let's talk about this line.
No way, that's a ridiculous theory.
What is even more ridiculous is that the molten core generates the magnetosphere. Had there been a collision, what we see now would be the core, and it's obviously not molten.
Are you fucking high? I hope you're high. The molten stuff inside planets is because of the heat caused by the pressure of the rock surrounding it. Remove the outer layers and it will fucking cool down. Gah! So they make it back to Earth just in time to be met by a shuttle.
This is Lieutenant Aurelia Croft requesting permission to dock.
Why is it that everyone who has a rank and isn't the captain or Steve Austin is a fucking lieutenant? Do they assume we'll be confused if they use 4 ranks?
This is Lieutenant Aurelia Croft and Corporal Luke Williams at your service.
Oh, okay, they told me. Why is the military made up of 12-year-olds? I swear, it's looking like the whole thing is a weird harem for Davis Arini here. So JonTron not only designed pretty much everything, but the ship too. And I'm pretty sure I was sarcastic about that in episode 1.
Wow, you think he designed and built the thing.
He did.
It's like he's a weird competence vampire sucking it from whole generations of children. Good work, Genesis 7. I was worried you'd film this outside stuff competently. Inside in the studio and green screened. Outside with a green screen and not fucking white balanced. Mr. Director, maybe we should white balance this shot. Listen, asshole, we don't have any black people in this show, so it doesn't need white balancing. This part of the futuristic space base is played by a still image of someone's apartment complex. At least I managed to find a medical-looking bench for him to sit on.
Yeah, where are you hurt?
Underneath all these spots I drew on my arm in marker pen. So, are you ready for some Christian super science? It's time for the medical spray paint. The sad thing is that is probably the best special effect in the show thus far. And I give up. Either this isn't Christian Scientist and therefore is much less interesting, or it is and they're desperately trying to hide it for some reason.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's technology.
Now why couldn't they have one of them on their ship? It's the size of a fucking pen! So we see that the captain has somehow entered a parallel universe where green screens don't exist. And almost as oddly, I think he wants to fuck a car.
So where is she?
Who?
My car.
What car?
My car?
Son, your dad and grandfather took great care of this car. They don't make them this nice anymore.
I know, I'm a blessed man.
If this shit doesn't lead to a Christian version of Mad Max, I'm gonna be annoyed. Although, Fury Road in reverse could be the Christian Mad Max. A group of free women are chased down and captured by a patriarch who will force Old Testament marriages on them. The feminist badass will be broken and become his thrall, while Max ends up wandering the desert as a crazy man with long hair and a beard. He's a Moses stand-in. That car is driving very disappointingly not fast. So the captain goes on a date with the woman from Mission Control. This involves her having to cover her eyes and dragging around for so long that the sun vanishes.
Okay, open them.
Nick, it's just like last summer.
Wait, he's been in space, he landed, he went and picked up his car, and then he got her. When did he set this up? Did he have some poor ensign wasting time sitting out here when he could have been going through puberty or something? Anyway, picnic or not, we're gonna get some more shoehorned in apologetics, damn it!
Why would God make the world look old if it's not? Wouldn't that make God look deceptive?
And what did you say?
Well, I didn't really know what to say. I just told her that the Bible says it was created in 6 days, a little over 6,000 years ago.
You know, I've never really understood that theory. Wouldn't it be more deceptive for God to say that he created the world in 6 days if he didn't?
Stop it, please, I beg you!
Wouldn't it be more deceptive for God to say that he created the world in 6 days if he didn't?
God doesn't say that. A book says that. The Bible isn't fucking God. I mean, it's not God, and I assume it's not having intercourse with him either.
Right. I wish I thought of that.
So, after more probably accidental suspiciousness from the Admiral...
So, tell me about the PSU. Well, I'm going to let you get some rest, and we'll start looking into this immediately.
And some extra space nepotism.
Aurelia Croft is my daughter.
The crew gets ready to reboard the Genesis 7, firm in the knowledge that this episode was just as shit as the last two, but somehow even more pointless. They're saying the mission will last another 9 months, but it was a year-long mission in episode 1, so they may be short in the mission, can't count or remember what they said in the pilot, or somehow each episode lasts a fucking month. I'm guessing they wanted to put the feeling of watching the show into the show itself. It's quite meta, really. Anyway, if it took them 3 months to visit the moon and the sun and return, then how the fuck are they going to get to beyond Pluto and back in 9? It's really far! Ever get the feeling that the show could do with some new and improved ending music so we don't need to hear that fucking intro music again? Well, now you won't.
Wonders of creation.
We don't seem to have advanced very far since the Cremorne Gardens and the Argyle Rooms.
Come back, shit theme, all is forgiven! This show does something astounding. It somehow turned the feeling of cloying embarrassment into audio-visual media, allowing you to observe the emotions without actually taking part in them. It's like eating ham that tastes of despair. It's really hard to explain. You really need to experience it for yourself to understand. That was Genesis 7, and I am so sorry